everyone, welcome back to our channel, the best place for all things sewing. Today, I am going to be talking to you about doing a full bust adjustment using knit fabric. The first time I was tasked with doing this adjustment, I was nervous it was going to be really complicated, but trust me, it isn't that bad. In this video, sometimes I'll refer to a full bust adjustment as an FBA. Before we get started, we always have a partner blog linked down below with additional links and more information. Let's dive in. Why don't you take a second and gather the tools needed to do this adjustment. I'm going to be using a measuring tape, a ruler, scissors, several colors of markers, paper to transfer our markings, and of course, the pattern. I'm using the free Key West tank pattern by New Horizons Designs, but any tank top or pattern with set-in sleeves will do. If you are more blessed in the chest area, you may notice some signs that you need a full bust adjustment. If you make your shirt to fit your shoulders, you'll notice drag lines and pulling where the fabric is trying to stretch across your full bust. If you make your shirt to fit your full bust, you'll be left with droopy shoulders and a neckline that's too big. And most noticeable on tank tops, your arm side will be big and baggy. It is important to know what sewing cup size the pattern you're using is drafted for. New Horizons Designs drafts for a 2-inch difference from your full bust to your upper bust for sizes extra small to 18, a 2.5-inch difference for sizes 20 to 24, and a 3-inch difference for sizes 26 to 30. A sewing cup size is different from your bra cup size. A sewing cup size is the difference between your upper bust and your full bust measurements. When doing a full bust adjustment, it's also important to consider the ease that is built into your pattern. If you're doing a slim fitting garment, then you'll definitely want to do a full bust adjustment. If you're making a slouchy, oversized sweater, you may get away with skipping it altogether. If you're getting value from this content, join the family. Hit that link and subscribe button down below. To figure out how much you're going to need to add to your full bust adjustment, start off by taking your measurements. If you need extra help taking measurements, we have a great video and blog post on that as well. After you have your measurements, compare them to the size chart for the pattern you're using. New Horizons Design suggests you pick your size based on your upper bust measurement. Then compare the difference between your full bust and upper bust measurement to the sewing cup size the pattern is drafted for. Remember, New Horizons drafts for a 2-inch difference for sizes extra small to 18, a 2.5-inch difference for sizes 20 to 24, and a 3-inch difference for sizes 26 to 30. For example, my upper bust falls into the size 22, but I have a 3-inch difference between my full bust and upper bust measurement. So my full bust is 1/2 inch bigger than the pattern is drafted for. I will need to add that to my adjustment. But our pattern pieces are cut on the fold, so you'll only need to add half the amount to your adjustment. For the purpose of this video, I am going to be doing 1 inch so it's easier to see. If the amount you have to add to your adjustment is more than 1.5 inches, a method called the wide dart method may work better for you. I always start with my height adjustments first. You can do it afterwards, but that is just my preference. However, do not grade for your waist and hips. The FBA will add width to your pattern piece and mess up your wonderful grading. At this time, it would be a good idea to make a note of how wide your pattern piece is at your waist and hips. You can use this at the end to determine if you need to do any further grading to your pattern. Before we get started making any adjustments, you'll need to find out where your apex point is. The easiest way to do this is put on a shirt that is similar to the pattern you're making and put a piece of tape over your apex point, approximately where your nipple is. I know there's a more technical way of doing this, but we're trying to keep it easy. Let's get down to making some adjustments. First, transfer your apex mark onto your pattern piece. I'll be using the purple marker to draw a line 45-degree angle from the apex out towards the arm side, and from the apex mark straight down through your hemline. Starting back at the apex line, take another marker and draw a line at a 90-degree angle toward the side seam. Lastly, a few inches above your hemline, starting at the center line you created, draw a line at 90-degree angle toward the center fold. Cut the purple line starting at the hem up to your apex point and out towards the arm side, but do not cut all the way through. You'll want to create a hinge point there. Next, cut from the side seam towards your apex on the green line, but do not cut all the way through. We're creating another hinge. Ignore the red line for now. We'll get back to that in just a second. Spread the pattern pieces apart by the amount we determined earlier. I am going to be using 1 inch. By doing this, you've added length and width to your pattern. Hold your pattern pieces in place using pattern weights or anything that you have on hand. Now cut the red line all the way through and slide that piece of your pattern down to match up with the hemline on the left. Now slide the paper under your pattern pieces. We're going to draw a line on the left side of the opening we created. This will be a reference point for us later. Pivot the left side of your pattern piece up to match the area by the arm side and tape into place. Now cut from the apex point out towards the side seam, but do not cut all the way through. We want another hinge point here. The piece that we just pivoted up, we're going to rotate it back towards the reference line that we created a couple steps ago. This takes out the dart that would have been created, but still leaves extra room for your bust. You will notice that the hemline no longer lines up. We will fix this by creating a smooth curve from the right side of your bodice up to the left side seam. If you have a French curve, that will help, but if not, make it as smooth as possible by hand. When wearing your shirt, it won't appear that you have a curved hem because your bust will bring up the hemline. It is similar to if you have a bigger backside and you're wearing a skirt. Sometimes the back looks shorter even though the hem is even all the way around. The last thing that you'll need to do is go back to the measurements you jotted down earlier and determine if you need to do any further grading. We do have a blog post if you need help with grading. For me, I need to grade out for my hips, so the full bust adjustment usually works out in my favor. If your waist and hips fall into the same size as your upper bust, you may need to grade down so that you do not have too much ease in your pattern. Your pattern piece is complete. You'll need to sew your shirt according to the patterns included in your instructions. We would love it if you would head over to our Facebook group or Instagram and share your new shirt with us. Thank you for watching and see you next time.